Welcome back, everyone, to the Creator Spotlight here on Fightful. I'm Jeremy Lambert, and joined today the representative of Microman. You can check him out, MLW on REELZ, MLW Underground on REELZ, 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday nights. It is Mr. Saint Laurent, MSL. How are you doing, MSL?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. It's so exciting to be here. Fightful, one of my favorite websites to get that great, legit news in the world of combat sports. So to be here with you, it's certainly a thrill. I appreciate it very much.
I've heard we do fake stuff here. That's what the internet tells us. So you are vouching for us that we give real news.
I vouch 1,000%. Unless it makes me look bad, then it's complete horse manure.
I'm going to clickbait a headline, and then you can respond to it and be like, I never said this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What can you tell us about Microman coming to the underground on Tuesday? He's a big star in the world of MLW. And MLW, they're on the up right now. The last show drew big ratings up from the first show. And now we got Microman entering the underground.
Yeah, Tuesday night between the East Coast, West Coast, you had 139,000 viewers for only week 3 of our series on a network late at night for taped programming. So I have to tell you, just personally, kind of blown away by the fan support we've had. So thank you to everybody that's been tuning in. You tell your friends, tell your mailman, tell the dog catcher. You know, this is a grassroots word of mouth kind of thing that we need the fan support. But yeah, this Tuesday, 10 o'clock on REELZ. It's the REELZ debut of Microman. Everyone knows how much I love Microman. The biggest passion in my life is telling the world about Microman. So for him to finally grace that REELZ screen is a big thrill for me. He's teaming with Lince Dorado against Mini Abismo Negro and Delirious. It's going to be a banger. Looking forward to that. And, you know, a lot of people that follow MLW, they know all about Microman, but we've got new fans tuning in every week. I'm sure we have Fightful, the Fightful audience that maybe hasn't checked us out yet or hasn't checked us out in a while. Microman, 3 feet tall, 62 pounds, second generation luchador, incredible aerial maneuvers off the top rope, all over the place. This kid is wild. You take a look at him and you think it's just some gimmick wrestler. It is not. This is an incredible athlete. The things that he can pull off in the ring, every time I see him, it blows my mind. And I'm just so excited for the REELZ audience to see him for the first time on Tuesday.
Is Enzo Real One going to be there? Because he has been cutting promos in front of KFC Taco Bells, calling out Microman. He punted him. He's calling you out as well, MSL.
Yeah, I mean, I think clearly things are heading in that direction. Real One's a big star in the world of wrestling, and certainly here in MLW. And he's had his eyes on Microman for a while. And a lot of people have, because let's be honest, when people see Microman, it is the closest thing we have on earth to a real-life Baby Yoda. And you either fall in love, or if you're someone like a Real One or someone else, you want to kick him in the head. So, you know, we've got passionate people on both sides of the spectrum. You know, we're not heading there quite yet, but we'll see what unfolds in the coming weeks here on Underground. No, I think Microman has been like an instant hit phenomenon. You have a few people on social media that are maybe a little skeptical, and I don't blame them, because in the history of wrestling, how many times have we seen a mini wrestler that really was just like a sticky novelty? We've all seen them. They couldn't work at all. It's just ha-ha. That's not what Microman is about. If you see this kid train, and like I said, he's second generation, the moves that he can pull off boggle the mind. He's as legit as they come. He's just very small.
My introduction to mini wrestlers was in the mid-90s WWF, when they got Mini Mankind and Mini Vader running around there, and they had legit people in those matches. But then, of course, you look at the history. Hornswoggle is the big one. Microman, I've watched him. I'm very impressed, because he is – I'm going to compare him to Commander on the independent scene. Like, he does some crazy stuff, Microman, and he will take your breath away if you watch him.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, look, every time he steps into that ring, he turns a doubter into a believer. That micro army is growing. The fan support has been great, and so, you know, but this is a big moment in the journey of Microman for that audience on REELZ to see him, because there's obviously every week new people discovering Major League Wrestling. It's a very exciting time for MLW. And so Tuesday night's their chance to see Microman make his debut. And then you look at, we've only been on REELZ for a few weeks. The fan support's been incredible, and I know it's going to grow and grow. But every week that audience on REELZ that hasn't seen us before, they're seeing new personalities they haven't seen, new athletes they haven't seen. We had John Hennigan just debut this past Tuesday and popped a real big rating. So thank you to John Hennigan. And I think Microman's going to do the same this Tuesday.
You mentioned he's teaming with Lince Dorado. Did you see that Lince said this is going to be his last year with the mask?
Yeah, I've seen some of that. We'll have to see how that plays out. Lince Dorado, one of the most talented middleweights in the world, absolutely. And look, I've known Lince a long time. That's a decision every luchador has to make at some point, if and when the mask comes off. So, certainly full respect to whatever he decides in that regard.
The partnership with REELZ, brand new, as you mentioned, 3 weeks. Court Bauer has hinted that maybe there could be a big event coming to, whether it be a pay-per-view program or maybe on REELZ. Can you give us any more insight of, airing like a tentpole event on REELZ or any other cable network or pay-per-view network?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the possibilities are wide open. It really comes down to the levels of the fan support and just timing things the right way. We've done pay-per-view in the past. It's not something we do often. We try to give great value to the fans. If you look at the way our tickets are priced compared to the billionaire wrestling organizations, you can see that we've got the best interest of the fan at heart. If you see the way that we consistently deliver our biggest matches on cable, not on pay-per-view, it's because we're trying to have the wrestling fans' best interest at heart. We're not asking for 10, 12 hours of your time every week. We're not asking for $10, $15 a month or $50, $60 every few months. We want you to get invested in MLW. Even if you're a cord cutter, you can go get free cast value and watch REELZ and hundreds of channels for like $6 a month. So we want MLW action to be as affordable as possible, bring you the best matches we can. So that's kind of what the mindset is. But sure, at some point, could there be some big pay-per-view or live special? Yeah, I mean, that's the realities of the industry, but that's not where our head's at right now.
Richard Holiday mentioned that he just finished treatment, and I'm
Right.
sure there's no rush to get him back to the ring or anything like that. But how's he doing? What's he been like through this whole journey, and what kind of communication have you had with him through this journey?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was a very scary situation. All indications are that the treatment has been a big success. Obviously, a big relief for all of us, just on a personal note. And when Richard's ready to come back, obviously everyone's gonna fully support him and be excited, and not just the locker room, not just the office, but I think the fans as well.
You celebrated your 40th birthday not
I
too long
did.
ago. Is that
I
correct?
did. Yeah.
Sorry to put your age on
No,
blast.
look, when you're a man, it's not as much of a sensitive topic, So yeah, I recently turned 40. I broke into the business when I was 15. So this has been 25 years of insanity with no end in sight.
What'd you do to celebrate? Like, it's a big milestone, 40.
So my wife and I, she took me to Disney World that weekend. And we had a real, big celebration at Disney. But that was, a couple days before my birthday. And, she's got an office job. So my actual birthday, which I think was a Tuesday night, me and all my old buddies met up at an arcade that's open till 2 a.m. And we just played like classic arcade games for like 6 hours straight. So fortunately, my wife had to go to sleep and she couldn't make it. But yeah, we had a big arcade birthday bash till they pushed us into the streets at 2 a.m.
All right, two questions off of that then. Favorite ride at Disney and favorite arcade game?
Okay. Oh, good questions. Usually Disney, I think of like favorite ride by park. I'm an annual pass holder, so I go like all the time. But if I just have to pick one ride, the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, maybe it's because it's new. But that ride is so crazy. So that's certainly my favorite right now. All-time favorites, probably Splash Mountain, which is closed right now, and excited to see the new version when it opens up. And I haven't ridden the new Tron. I don't think it's open to the public, but I have, a lot of friends that have done like employee sneak previews or whatever. They say it's incredible. Other question was favorite arcade game. There's so many. I'm going to go either Street Fighter 2 or NBA Jam. It kind of just depends on, like, if I'm hanging with friends, I'd rather play NBA Jam. If it's strangers, then I really just want to beat their ass in Street Fighter 2.
NBA Jam, classic game right there. Love it. They need to bring that back. Real, put the current guys in there.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
I think they tried it a few years ago, and I don't think it caught on as much as they wanted to, but they should give it another shot. The MLW,
you can't see it on camera, but like just behind my laptop is a Sega Saturn that has NBA Jam Tournament Edition in the system right now. So nice. I must have been playing that in the last couple of days.
The MLW women's division continues to grow. We've seen Billy Starks on there. Becca, Delmi Exo just got signed. Anybody out there you got your eye on of like, we'd like to bring her to MLW and really add her to this division?
Yeah, sure. I'm always in talks with different talent out there. I think the women's featherweight division has been developing really well, and that's a credit to the great female athletes that have been coming into MLW. Been very happy with how things are going in that division. One of the things about MLW, we try to make sure every division feels special. The middleweight division is a very unique style. The women's featherweight division, very unique style. The heavyweight division, same thing. Even the tag team division. Now, I don't want to say who I have my eyes on, because like you could have someone that the billionaire wrestling companies wouldn't pay attention to, and if I say I think they're decent, they'll show up on another show tomorrow in a panic where they're told to book their own plane ticket and they'll be reimbursed.
You kind of kept the services of Microman through juggling. When did you become a top juggler?
Well, so I am the promoter of Microman and the manager of Microman, which is illegal in boxing, but in wrestling it's legal. The Muhammad Ali Act does not apply to professional wrestling, thankfully. So look, there's been people that are in his ear. You see this with the stars of any industry, not just, whether it's sports, boxing, wrestling, and, football, basketball, anything else, but you see it in entertainment with bands and actors, all sorts of things. Someone brings them to the dance, brings a lot of money to the table, a lot of exposure and all that. And then you have the people coming out of the shadows whispering in their ear saying, hey, maybe this guy's taking you as far as he can take you. I think I could take you a little higher. That's common. We've seen that all the time. And yeah, I did have to win back the affections of Microman with some of my sweet juggling skills. And that is my secret weapon. All these other managers and promoters out there trying to steal Microman away from me. Until you can juggle on my level. Good luck, pal.
Can you juggle like chainsaws or anything like that?
No. I mean, I hate to tell this story publicly, but I guess I'll do it. I broke into wrestling at a very young age, like I mentioned before, and I would not recommend this to anybody, but like I did everything you shouldn't do. I dropped out of school. I ran away. Like I had no backup plan. And there was a time where I was living on the beach. I'm not proud of it, but yeah. And the only way to make money, you have the tourists coming by. I was not comfortable just like shaking a can begging. So I had found some old tennis balls. I taught myself how to juggle, and I juggled tennis balls for tips. Not for a long time, but a couple months. And so that's where the juggling skills came from.
That we had to do it was a class thing. You got extra credit if you learned how to juggle. I was in like high school doing this.
Okay.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't really do it. I think I was able to pull it off for the extra credit and then couldn't retain those skills.
Well, look, anybody who's seen me knows that I love to eat. And when I didn't know where my next meal was coming from, the pressure was on to learn some sort of skill that would throw a couple dollars in my hat.
I won't make you mention anyone outside of MLW because we don't want to get them in trouble. Who is somebody in MLW that you got your eye on? Like you got to watch out for this person.
Ooh, Alex Kane, man. I hear Boomai in my sleep. I eat, breathe, and think Boom-Aye. It haunts me in my dreams. Boom-Aye, Boom-Aye. So, yeah, I think he's really special. And, man, anybody in MLW with a championship, I would be watching out for Alex Kane because he's probably coming for you.
I mean, Hammerstone's had that title for a while now. And I
Sure.
know he's got the big showdown with Jacob Fatu, but Alex Kane right there on his heels.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I think right now, listen, even if I worked for another company, if you asked me in a private moment who are the two best heavyweights in the world, I would tell you Alex Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu. It's a testament to the fan base of MLW that we've got such special talent here. When look, there's plenty of places that are trying to get their hands on some of these guys, right? And so I think it's what makes MLW unique, that we can bring you hard hitting pro wrestling in an underground setting in that OG arena that in South Philly. And I really do truly believe that Hammerstone and Fatu are the two best heavyweights. So it's a thorn in the side of the billionaires that they don't have them. And they've been trying to get them for a while, but I think it's a special thing for the fans of MLW to see them in such an authentic setting. Hammerstone in particular, just a complete freak of nature, an anomaly. I grew up on the Hulk Hogans and the Lex Lugers, and maybe they weren't the best workers in the world. And what Hammerstone can do in the ring for a guy with his physique, every single time I see him, it blows my mind. I mean, just so proud that he's the world heavyweight champion here in MLW. And I really think he's going to go down as a real special talent. Long term, when they look back on wrestling, like who were some of the best super heavyweights ever, I think Hammerstone's going to be on that list.
You mentioned Lex Luger. One, if anybody is out there slandering Lex Luger, we're not doing that because he is an all-time great. Like Sid is one of my favorite wrestlers. So those are the guys, big dudes, just with natural charisma. Love
Oh
them.
yeah, and I love Sid as well. But the thing is, and we see it like in the NBA when a guy is 7 feet tall, he's not going to be as coordinated as a guy that's 6 feet tall, right? And then every once in a while, you have a freak of nature like a Kevin Durant, who I think is listed at 6'11", but everyone really knows he's 7 foot. That has the coordination and all this kind of stuff you just would not expect at that size. And so it's not to look. I grew up as a Hulkamaniac, right? I'm not trying to trash anybody that came before Hammerstone. He just, whatever the drawbacks would normally be of being that size, he just doesn't have those drawbacks. I don't know how he does it. It's crazy.
You mentioned Fatu, and I think a match that a lot of people loved last year, and we didn't get a definitive finish to it, was Fatu against Josh Alexander from the Ric Flair show.
Right.
Any talks of trying to get that back together with Impact?
Yeah, I'm open to it. It takes two to tango, and there's certainly been times when I've spoken to Scott D'Amore, or I've spoken to Tony Khan, or I've spoken to Billy Corgan, or whoever else. And sometimes you can figure out a collaboration, and sometimes you can't. I think right now for us, we've got a lot of steam on the MLW brand. We've got this new big TV deal with REELZ. We've got, thousands and thousands of people every week checking us out for the first time as our fan base starts to grow. And so it's not something I'm particularly focused on right this second. And there's certainly, I don't want to put a specific guy on the spot, but there's, certainly been times recently where the reach out was either ignored or not reciprocated. So, but everybody's busy running their own organization. You don't know what's going on their end. And, but my hand is always there if the other hand reaches out.
And can you give us any update on Arez and Aramis? Because there were reports that they'd asked for their releases. Is there any update on that?
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff online, a lot of which just wasn't true. The person that put that stuff online, they did a lot of damage to people they thought they were trying to help, because those agreements were done through AAA, and I have to work that out through AAA. So I don't think that gentleman on Twitter was aware of that. And like I said, also posted a lot of stuff that just wasn't true. It's being sorted out, but you're dealing with, people with another company where the agreement is with the other company. So, I can't go any more in depth than that, but that's what kind of complicated things.
I appreciate you cleared that up because it was a big thing online, and wanted to get it directly from you guys. So thank you for for
Oh, no
giving
problem.
your side on that. It is MLW Underground on REELZ, 10 p.m. Eastern. MSL, tell us one more time what we can expect on Underground, and from particular, Microman.
Yeah, tune in every Tuesday at 10 on REELZ. If you've got cable or satellite, you probably get REELZ. If you don't, spend a couple bucks, upgrade your package, man. If you're passionate about pro wrestling, this is a chance to see underground wrestling every week, Tuesdays at 10. This is the most stacked roster MLW's ever had. Microman making his REELZ debut this Tuesday night. Couldn't be more excited. Him and Lindsay Dorado are such a great tag team. And Delirious and Mini Abismo Negro have been thorns in the side of Microman for a while. So just really looking forward to this one. And just so many big matches that are going to be coming up in the coming weeks. You know, whether it's a Hammerstone and a Fatu, the women's division heating up, like you said. So it's really a great time to jump on that MLW train. If you've been curious about it, you know, if you're busy, there's only a few companies you can follow, maybe knock someone else off your list for a few weeks. Give MLW a shot, because this is the real deal, down and dirty underground wrestling from South Philly, with some of the best wrestlers in the world. And it's an easy breezy 1 hour show full of action. I'm not asking you to watch 10 hours a week. And I think you tune in, you're going to be really impressed.
Again, guys, it is MLW Underground on REELZ, 10 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday night. Go check it out if you haven't already. MSL, thank you again for the time tonight. Really appreciate it here on Fightful. And guys, we will talk to y'all later on.